Welcome back to the show and introducing Eliza Anthony from the Mornington Shire Council. How are we going, Eliza?
Really good, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Now we're
That's
discussing
good.
a very important topic now, and I suppose we'd just like to understand what your department does and what your role does within council.
Yeah,
And if you
sure.
take us through that.
Yeah, absolutely. I work with the Youth Services Department within Council. We do a range of things. Our core business is around group programs for young people, individual support for young people, the one-on-one sort of case management stuff, and we also provide drop-in spaces for young people around the peninsula. Which is really cool. And I also work for a more strategic part of youth services called Communities that Care as well. And we do a lot of evidence-based prevention work with young people in the peninsula.
And that's what we're talking about today. And our key topic is suicide
Yes,
and
yeah.
and its prevention.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's it's probably touching too many people on the peninsula at the moment. It's probably something that's hitting the targets around the peninsula. Have you got any facts or figures that you might be able to just give us a broad overview on how it affects the community and numbers or anything like that?
Yeah, so one of the key risk factors for suicide is mental health. So what we do know about young people in the peninsula is that approximately 25% of young people report experiencing a number of depressive symptoms, which is incredibly high. That's sort of an overview of the peninsula as a whole, but in some pockets of the peninsula, depressive symptoms are as high as 40%. Yeah, which is significantly higher than the state average. So to put that in context, the state average is approximately 15% for the same cohort of young people. So what we're seeing down here on the peninsula is, significantly higher rate of depression and anxiety and other mental health issues, which obviously then in the worst case scenario can lead to things such as youth suicide.
Yep. And you mentioned there that the average around Mornington's around, or the Mornington Peninsula is around 25%.
Yeah, it is.
So we're above the state average.
Above the state average,
Yeah, well,
so a quarter of young people.
That's not good, and it's great the council have pushed some resources there. Can you tell us what's who else is involved in the project and
Sure.
how we're moving forward with that?
Yeah, so we've got a range of partners for our particular project, which is the rollout of youth mental health first aid and teen mental health first aid. So there's obviously the council, so the Mornington Peninsula Shire Youth Services, Mornington Peninsula Communities that Care, which I mentioned earlier. We've got Peninsula Headspace involved. We've got Mind Australia involved. Mental Health First Aid Australia is also on board with this project, and the Junior Football League as well, which we'll go into a bit later, I believe.
That's great.
Yeah.
And just for the kids out there, can you just tell us a bit about the council services, about well, I'm sure a large number of kids wouldn't be aware of what services are out there if they're in some sort of need, or can you just give us a brief overview there?
Yeah, sure. So the first port of call would be our drop-in centres that are based around the peninsula. So we've got one down in Hastings, which is called Shed 11. We've got one here in Mornington called The Corner, and one in Rosebud called the Y Lounge. And they're our sort of three hubs that are based across the peninsula. So at that hub, you'll find a number of youth workers that you'll be able to touch base with at any time, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, we're open. And we're able to provide, individual support, some program referrals, and just other general support around
Just
the
someone
health.
to talk to?
Yeah, just someone
Yep.
to talk to, exactly, depending on what the young person's issue is. So
No, that's good. Just so the kids understand that, and the parents as well.
Yeah,
So that's
very important.
That's really good. So, does the Junior Football League is it an important part of distribution of the information? What's the Football League play in this?
Yeah, absolutely. The role that the Mornington Peninsula Junior Football League is playing is crucial. We often talk about within our service that a sporting club or, like a footy club is the heart of a community. And our aim with this project was to really roll out mental health education and awareness programs to schools, sporting clubs and community agencies. Having the commitment and the support of the Junior Football League is crucial in getting that across in a large number of people.
Well, I saw there was I was at a meeting last week, it might have been the week before, with all the league clubs, and they have unanimously jumped on board and are keen to push resources.
Yeah.
And look, I suppose the first stage. Can you tell us a bit about the first stage of what you plan to do with the Football League?
Yeah, sure. So it'll sort of go over a 12-month period, but in the first instance, the plan is to train the executive for the Mornington Peninsula Junior Football League, as well as the health and wellbeing officers in youth mental health first aid. And then throughout the year, what we hope to do is periodically train all of the coaches involved in the league, and I believe that's about 131 or so coaches. So it's a large number of people.
I suppose there's a stage view of that. Is that we're looking at with yourselves a target audience. Mm-hmm. And that we're looking at the older kids, starting them first and their coaches. So an under 16s or an under 17s coach, and then working our way down from there. Because, and we'd be guided by yourselves as well. Is there a problem with the older kids or the younger kids and going on that age there?
Yeah.
Would the people, the executive, receive some training?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. So the Youth Mental Health First Aid is a 14-hour course that's delivered by accredited facilitators that we've recruited, and they're all locally based as well. So they receive training for 14 hours around a whole bunch of mental health issues, and they also receive some resources and templates for like a mental health crisis plan in which they can take with them after the course.
Yep.
So it's a really helpful
and
resource.
So this course would give them some indications on how to recognise some issues?
Absolutely. Yep. Signs and symptoms, just understanding exactly what to do if a young person presents and they are in a mental health crisis. So it's the help given to a young person who presents in a mental health crisis before another professional arrives. So it's very similar to sort of the traditional first aid, but it's for mental health.
So really, it's like the trainer,
who
a child has twisted their ankle, and instead of twisted ankle, we've got some issues with the child that are mental health related, and we just want some intervention then, some short-term intervention before a professional can arrive and assist. So that's
absolutely
that's great. So we've talked about the short-term goals. So can you tell us any bit more about the project? Has it been rolled out anywhere else, or this is the first, or?
So the course is available Australia-wide, but we believe, to the best of our knowledge, that it hasn't been rolled out in such a strategic whole-of-community approach before. So we're really excited by the prospect of being able to do it across the whole league. I know, for instance, individual clubs have had some members trained, but as I said, we're doing this really in a collaborative, strategic way where we're hoping to get the whole club done. But not only that, we're hoping that it will become a sustainable thing so that mental health first aid becomes ingrained in the culture, and that coaches in the future, it actually becomes a mandatory part of their requirements to be a coach.
And that's the way the league's thinking at the moment, is part of their induction process. That in future, we are not talking straight away, but in future, to get a coach's accreditation, you must have your coach's accreditation from the AFL, but also you must also have the community items as well, and one of those might be mental health, and there might be some other subjects as well to talk about. So that's great. Anything like else you add?
Look, we've got some, since the Junior Football League has come on board, we've got some really big partners as well. So we've got St Kilda Football Club, who are really interested and are really supportive of the project. We've got AFL South Eastern as well, who have jumped on board, Peninsula Health, in addition to Headspace and Mind Australia and those who we already had on. So the project's gained a lot of traction and a lot of interest. So all I'd really say is watch this space. I think, a lot of people will be interested in the outcomes.
And that's terrific. And the mandatory questions, what footy team do you barrack for?
So this is probably the hardest question of the interview. I don't actually barrack for a team, but I barrack for the umpires because I feel bad for them because everyone teases them.
Well, we've got our own umpires and also the Southern umpires, so they're doing a fantastic job.
Well, I shout my love out to them then.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
Well, Eliza, thanks for coming into the studio.
That's okay.
We look forward to maybe catching up during the year and just giving a progress report.
That'd be great.
And just sharing it with all our listeners. But this is the MPJFL and the council and all the partners working together, and it's just for one cause. And it's great to see that the community is working together. And thanks again.
No worries. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Eliza.
Cool.